Hello, Community Bible Church. It's Pastor Joel. I want to make a short video about talking about the building program and giving you some updates there. If you were here on Saturday night, you heard in my sermon, I gave a little bit of an update there. But then on Sunday, I didn't mention it because I'm a preacher and sometimes I preach too long. And that's what happened on Sunday. And we had other services that we had to make sure everybody's getting out on time and all of that. I still failed in it. But I ended up having to cut that portion out of my sermon there, talking about the building and giving you some updates there, because I'm always going to prioritize just teaching God's word over talking about announcements or talking about funding or giving or any building or anything like that. I want to talk to you first and foremost about God's word. And so the reason why I'm making this video now is just to hopefully give you some very important updates still about our building program that we just didn't have time to in our worship service here. And so I wanted to talk a little bit because we are actually getting very close to hopefully wrapping up all the permitting aspect of the building here. And we even have some guys that are going to be talking to our county even tomorrow, just trying to get all of that straightened out here. And then we are also getting very close to getting through our pre-approval process. In fact, we've gotten some pre-approvals for our loan already submitted to us here, but we are waiting back on some of the other banks here to hear back from them. And the plan is that once we get all the pre-approvals here, as a leadership team, we're going to look over that, decide which one's the best option for our church, and then bring it to the membership of our church. Here at Community Bible Church, if you are a member, then you definitely still have a voice in all of this here. And so I encourage you, if you aren't a member but you are part of our church still, go ahead and become a member here. We will definitely be able to still get you counted in that, and you can have your voice. We want anybody that feels like this is their church home to go ahead and join a membership so you can have your voice heard as well here. And because what is likely going to happen, this is so exciting here, is that once we get through this pre-approval process, then we are going to call a special meeting, a congregational meeting, and we are going to be able to vote on that loan. Once that vote goes through, Lord willing, then we will very quickly after that break ground. And so it is entirely possible. It's all in the Lord's hand, should the Lord will it, of course, but it's entirely possible now that we could be breaking ground before Christmas. And if we break ground before Christmas, then there's also a good chance that this time next year, we could actually be in our new sanctuary. Obviously, that's all in the Lord's hands if everything goes smoothly and all of those caveats there. But we could be very soon be in that new building. And if you were here even this weekend, normal weekend here, you know that is going to be, it can't come soon enough, can it? Because in all 4 services that we had this weekend, we were getting pretty full in all 4 of them there. And on the full services, we had to bring in extra chairs. On the services that are usually a little bit lighter, they were actually still pretty full as well. We had to take off the covers of all the seats here and just let as many of the seats open as we possibly could. And so God is just working and moving here at Community Bible Church. It's such an exciting time. And so please be praying that all of this permitting goes through very quickly. Please be praying that the pre-approval process goes through very quickly here, because with everything, there's always hiccups, there's always questions that we're working through here. The Lord willing, it'll be done very soon. One of the things, though, that we're facing even with the pre-approval process, to help direct your prayers a little bit, is that whenever they go through the pre-approval, they look at our financial history as an organization, not just this year, but then also the last 3 to 5 years, depending on who we're talking to here. And if you know about our church, over the last 5 years, we have actually really exploded. And so speaking just of finances here, literally we've already exceeded 10 times what we were 5 years ago. Much more, actually, than just 10 times. But yet, they're going to look at our 5-year history and see, well, 5 years ago, you weren't that big. And obviously, it's a very different situation, very different organization than what we were 5 years ago. But yet, you can be praying that God would not just provide, but that He'd provide everything that we need so we could just make sure that we get this building built quickly so that we can continue to reach more people people for Jesus. And Lord willing, what we're still kind of trying to figure out here is hopefully we'll be able even to very quickly or very soon build a youth building as well to make sure that they have enough space. But all of that is still kind of up in the air as we're just trying to make sure all the pre-approvals get through. And whenever we talk about money and all of that, it's always kind of a scary talk because what we're actually been asking for is up to $2.5 million. $2.5 million. And I know that that's a very big number and a very scary number, and I get it. Listen, I'm an employee of the church. I get it. I understand it. I know that that's a scary thing here. But at the same time, what we're going to do here before our membership gets together and votes on a loan, something like that size or close to it, we are also going to have other meetings before then, which will allow you to come and ask any questions that you might have or bring any concerns and just talk through that here. Because what we're also going to do leading up into that is really just continue to lay out our finances. We are very transparent here. At any point you can ask and see just how we're doing. Obviously, periodically we just give you those updates and let you know exactly what we spent the money on, exactly how much money we have in the bank. And we're going to continue to do that. And when you see that, you're going to see that we are in a very good position to make sure that this building that we are building not only is going to just be built and be paid off, but it's going to be paid off not in 30 years. It's not going to be paid off in 15 years, but that it's very reasonable to expect that we could be having this whole entire project paid off in just a few years, should the Lord will it, of course. And because whenever you start to look at it for 2.5 million, if you start to break that down by every family or individual that actually gives, what that ends up being is about $6,000 per family or individual that actually gives. And so if every single one of us was able just to give $6,000, we'd be able to pay it off completely in full right here, right now. But I know that that's unrealistic to ask many of us to be able to do that, myself included. That would be tough for my family and I just to be able to write a check like that right off the bat. But even if you start to think about, well, what if we split that up over maybe how we get done in 3 years, maybe, then that's $2,000 per family per year there. Maybe that's a little bit more doable for some of us there. If you break that down even by every single week here, that's less than $40 per week per family. And I'll tell you what, I spent more on Wendy's last week, not just for me, but my whole family. I spent more on Wendy's than what it would take to actually build this church building if everybody was able to rise up and just band together. And so if you know anything about our church at all, you know that we hardly ever talk about money. We don't twist your arm. We don't even pass a plate. I get questions oftentimes saying, Pastor, how do I give to the church? You guys never told me how to actually give. We do not talk about it. And even the fact that I'm making a video about this instead of talking about it on Sunday because I had more important things about the Bible to say to you than this video should hopefully just prove to you that we're not going to twist anybody's arm. We're not going to force anybody's hand, but yet we are going to make sure that you know that there's an opportunity just to be generous, just to join in what God is already doing here at Community Bible Church, because we are just so excited just to be able to hopefully see the ground being broken in the next couple months here and the walls being risen up here as we talk about Nehemiah and talking about those walls. How cool is it going to be to see some of those walls actually delivered here over the next several months as well? God is just working and moving, and I encourage you to be a part of it. Don't just sit on the sidelines here. Ask how you can be a part of it as well. But I wanted to give you all of those updates. So just be praying, continue to be generous here. We're going to be talking more and more about that as we get closer. And I want to make sure that you know that every one of your questions are going to be answered here. So please just come talk to me or talk to one of the other elders. We will answer and we'll show you anything and everything that you so desire there as well. But very clearly, God is working and moving in our midst. And we are just so excited about that and want you to be a part of it. So God bless. See you soon.